Hello, in this video we are going to see the money market, which is this graph, in the simulator. So specifically what we are going to do in this video is to transfer the information that we found in this graph, and we are going to use it in this graph. So if we see the big picture, we are going to transfer the information in this graph to this graph, but then to this one, and then to this one, and so on. And finally we are going to get this graph. But for the time being, in this video we are going to see only the relationship between this and this. Okay, so let's get started. In the previous video we found that the LM curve comes from the equilibrium between real money supply and real money demand, and then isolating I, we found the LM curve where this was the intercept and this was the slope. In the simulator we only show this part of the LM curve. Now if we use the money market panel in the simulator, then we can take this equilibrium condition and we plug in the values that we have in the panel, and then what we get is this, and 600 divided by 2 is 300. So with these values it's going to be very easy to find this point, because if I is equal to 0, then we are in the horizontal axis. Then if we do I equal to 0, then this term is 0, therefore y is equal to 300. So this value is 300, and then we already have this 300 in the simulator. Now we want to find this point, which is the intersection between the IS and the LM curve. We already did that, but now we are going to do it with numbers. So in previous videos we found that this is the LM curve and this is the IS curve. So if we want to find the intersection, then what we have to do is to say that this is equal to this. We have done that in previous video, and then from here the only variable is income, so we isolate income and we get this expression. Then the y that you are finding here is the y in equilibrium, and if we take the LM curve and we plug in the value that we found here, then what you get is the interest rate in equilibrium, which is this point. We have already seen this in the video entitled Intersection between the IS curve and the LM curve. What we want to do in this video is to see this with numbers. So we use the goods and services market panel, and we have to use the money market panel as well, because here you have information from both markets. So if you plug in this information and this information here, then what you are going to get is 8,000 divided in 20, which is this, and this is 400. So income in equilibrium is 400. Then you use this 400 here and you get that interest rate in equilibrium is 5, using here the information that we have in the money market. Then knowing these two values, we can know that income in equilibrium is 400, which is this 400, and interest rate in equilibrium is 5, which is this 5. So finding this intersection numerically, then we can go to the following graph and we can transfer the information from this graph to this graph. This is what we're going to do now. First, where this 300 come from? Well, that's quite easy, because this red line is real money supply, this one. And if we plug in the value that we have in the money market, then this is M divided by P, which is 600 divided by 2, which is 300, so this value is 300. What we want to find now is where this 400 come from. So we already know that income in equilibrium is 400. So if we use the L curve, liquidity or real money demand, we know, which is this real money demand, we know that Y in equilibrium is 400. So knowing that K is 1, then we can find this value. How we find this value? Making interest rate equal 0. So if interest rate is equal 0, then this term is 0. Then what we get is that the value for L is Y, which is 400. Then we find this 400. If we remember the real money demand or liquidity, which is this L, which is this blue line, the only variables here are L in the horizontal axis and I in the vertical axis. In this equation, Y, income, is constant. So if I don't have a constant value for income, then I am not able to draw this line. If this is not very clear to you, you can watch again the video entitled "A Difference Between the Good Market and the Money Market." So that's the reason why first we have to find numerically this point, and then using this information we can find out this blue line and this 400. And the intersection between this red line, which is real money supply, and this blue line, which is real money demand, which is this point, we found numerically the equilibrium here in the money market. Why this value 5 is exactly this value 5, which is the interest rate in equilibrium? Well, because we found this intersection out of the equilibrium in the goods and services market and in the money market. So we use the money market equilibrium, in which this is equal to this. So as we use the information that real money supply is equal to real money demand to find this, then this point is bound to fulfill this condition, that real money supply, which is the red line, is equal to real money demand, which is the blue line. But if I don't have the IS curve, which represents the goods and services market in equilibrium, I cannot find this point, because the LM curve takes M, P, K and H from here, M, P, K and H as constant, and then what the LM curve does is to relate income with interest rate. These are the only variables. Income in the horizontal axis and interest rate in the vertical axis. So the LM curve tell me all of the combination of income and interest rate here, this blue line, but it doesn't specifically tell me this point. So I need to find the intersection in order to know the equilibrium in which both the good and service market is in equilibrium and the money market is in equilibrium. And then I can see the causality relation between this graph here and this graph here. So we transfer the information from here to here. Now we can easily transfer the information from here to here. We are not going to do a separate video for that because it's really straightforward. We saw that investment is this, because in general we should add A times income, but for the time being A is 0, so this is the expression that we are using for investment. So if we plug in I0, which is 100, and B, which is 10, then for the interest rate in equilibrium, that is 5, we have 100 minus 50, which is 50. So we know the level of investment for the equilibrium in both markets. In the following videos, we are going to use this information and we are going to transfer it to the exchange rate market, and then to the good and servicing market, and then aggregate demand. So we are going to see this in different videos. Particularly in the next one, we are going to find change rate for this equilibrium. Okay, that's it. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.